West Ham, say, deserved victors last night, even though they was on about 28% possession.
But that's see that kind of remark there. I think that doesn't tell the story. Yeah. Like you know that whole weird fallacy that being in control of the football somehow makes you in control of the game. And it isn't true. It isn't true. The opposition, I mean, Jose Mourinho was the expert for this. Jose Mourinho would often win games when his team had 30% possession. Yeah. That's because he would fall on his sword and he would allow you to have the ball. He wanted you to have the ball because he knew that the way that his team was set up, he was capable of dealing with anything that you would throw at him. And that's how it felt last night for West Ham. David Moyes set his team up. He said, Arsenal can have the ball. You don't have the capability, you don't have the rationale, you don't have the minerals to break us down. And with a player like Angelo Ogbonna at the back, they didn't. He was proved completely spot on.
James Ward-Prowse and
Geezer, what a player.
I just can't believe he's not in the England setup. And I would be absolutely probably behind him if he said to Gareth Southgate, mate, don't pick me. I'm not in the mixer now. Like, because the guy has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, sensational player. Sensational delivery, so consistent. I don't think he's quite an elite footballer.
No, but
he's a very good player.
And see, with West Ham and the way that they're playing, because like you said, the way that Moyes sets up his team and he's let you, come on, you can play. The personnel that they've now got at West Ham in Paqueta, Kudus and Bowen, and then Prowse with the deliveries. It works.
I think if you talk about the England setup, if you think about the players that are in contention for that third midfield berth, so you've got Jude Bellingham, obviously sensational footballer, starts for England. You've then got Declan Rice, obviously sensational footballer, starts for England. You've then got one spare place. You've then got a place that is up for grabs. And I've got a terrible feeling that Gareth Southgate will be true to form and fall back to his usual copybook, which is Calvin Phillips or Jordan Henderson, which it can't be because Conor Gallagher is in with the shout here.
Yeah,
Conor Gallagher has
absolutely
been fantastic. And James Ward-Prowse, just for the consistency, just for what he has done, the elevation that he has put into West Ham United and to himself, I think he's a remarkable player. And then, by the way, this is going to sound really reactionary, but at what point do we start acknowledging that Jarrod Bowen is sensational? At what point do we say, at least to ask the question, does Jarrod Bowen start over Bukayo Saka? I don't think it's there yet. I don't think it's true at the moment. If I were picking the team, it would still be Bukayo Saka. But at some point, Saka's form needs to improve because Bowen is knocking on the door. He is fantastic.
He really is.
He's everything you want from a sort of forward player, isn't he? He runs relentlessly. He's got an excellent end product. Knows exactly where the back of the net is. Happy to run the channel. Thorn in your side. Terrible to play against. He's a great player.
There's so many ways to come of this conversation now because, of course, we're going to talk about David Moyes being potentially offered a new contract. West Ham fans, I want to hear from you today. 03717 223344. I have a lot of friends who are West Ham fans. I grew up with a lot of West Ham people. And the majority of people I hear from, they're bored of the football. And they said, thank you, David. Thanks for the cup. Thanks for pushing us this far. But they feel like they can go up a next level. Yeah. Now, I don't really know what managers out there to take West Ham to another level. But we can talk about that. But West Ham fans, would you be happy to give David Moyes a new contract? So West Ham fans, call us 03717 223344. And Arsenal fans now. Let's talk about Arsenal last night. And, the difficulty to break down teams like a West Ham. They've done it this season when they've faced that low block team and they've managed to get it across the line. And that was what was, as a Spurs fan, worrying me about Arsenal's consistency because they were winning like champions. Yeah. Sometimes they weren't playing well, but still winning. Yeah,
winning in second gear, top of the league in second gear.
Yeah.
And you think at some point this is going to click, they're going to find fifth gear, and when they do find fifth gear, if they're winning in second gear, they're going to be unstoppable. They didn't turn up. It doesn't make any sense to me, particularly when you put it in context, particularly when you think about what happened the previous night. We watched Man City win in the way that champions win. It was all going against them. They were losing at Goodison Park. Sean Dyche is going to make life very difficult for them. Goodison is a very intense, difficult place to play. Everton are resurgent. The Gladys Street in full voice. And somehow, City pulled out the bag the way that champions do. We watched Liverpool the previous night. We saw their fans in the away end at Burnley. Liverpool top of the league and all that. So you would have thought that Liverpool win, make a statement. The following night, Man City win, make a statement. The baton is handed to Arsenal. Arsenal needed to then answer it. They needed to find their own rhythm. And ultimately, they were well beaten by a team that are very beaten. You know what you're saying about West Ham? I do agree with you, Med. It's quite impressive. But it only feels like a few nights ago. Well, it was a few nights ago. Liverpool put 5 past them. Only feels like a couple of weeks ago, Fulham put 5 past them. You know, they're a beatable team, West Ham United, and Arsenal have let themselves down.
Majestic, please put Rory right. Of course Arsenal turned up, but Arsenal done a number on them. Will, come on you irons. Rory, have a day off. Bowen instead of Saka. Have you watched him play for England? He runs blind. Good for a mid-table team. Nowhere near good enough for the world stage. Mid-table team? West Ham ain't a mid-table team.
They're not a mid-table team. They won silverware last year. He scored in the final.
I think it's time to put some respect on his name.
What more can you say? They won silverware. I mean, he was at the epicentre of everything good that Arsenal, that West Ham did yesterday.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.